Remember that they are changing my voice. I am not gay. This video is about the invisible package of earned assets as opposed to unearned assets that people deny while children are raped and worse. It is about a moral inheritance, a righteous heritage in reality. So let's get into this, shall we? Communists and their conservative white, Jewish, and LGBT supremacist allies, as well as token minorities, subtly and otherwise encourage people to argue that white people have white privilege. And they're right that white people have white privilege. But why do they want them to argue that? And of course, it's on a spectrum. The poor white person hardly has, the homeless white person hardly has white privilege, right? It might be easier for him to get people to feel sorry for him than a person who's a minority. Okay, but that's not that much, but it's still there. So it's still more than fair to say that they have it as a group. It's just it's on a spectrum, right? They don't all have it to the same degree. Okay. It has been accurately defined as an invisible package of unearned assets. So white privilege has been accurately defined as an invisible package of unearned assets. The key word here is unearned. I want you people to truly understand that. You can have an invisible package of earned assets, but the key word in describing what white privilege is unearned. The die is cast, and through generational righteousness over 15,000 honest videos and my legal and peaceful top martial arts challenge, I have earned the right to say that I am morally superior to others and that no attractive female has the right to reject me unless she is in my family. Okay? So somebody's married and attractive. Okay? Because the marriage is invalid, because of who married them, the principles in which it came about, because of, cheating, generational ill-gotten gains, sabotage, persecution, the rape by deception construct, I can go on and on. They should ask me whether they want whether they want to divorce their husband or not. So they don't have the moral right to reject me. They might think it's proper to reject me. They might think that their church teaches them to reject me, but their marriage is not valid. You can't just get married in any way, for any reason, with any principles and any spirit, and consider it a marriage that has been made valid by God. They know they cannot win a debate on this topic, so they deny this, and they just avoid it. So that's when white denial, which leads to white guilt, comes in, right? White fragility, right? They're denying it. They're too fragile to talk about it. That's why my videos are suppressed. It's part of white denial. Now, you can be black or Niam and have white denial. It's a culture. It's a spirit. It's a way of doing things. And it's the way of doing things. The idea is it favors white Jews and white LGBT people and Jewish LGBT people. Okay, first and foremost. Then it favors token minorities over other minorities. I'm sure you get that. Okay. Now let's look at some scripture that overkills that I'm right, shall we? Consider Proverbs 1. Let's go to verse 18. Again, in the beginning of Proverbs, it says it's to understand the other books in the Bible, right? The parables, the riddles, the sayings of the wise, right? Logically, the writings of the wise as well. That's what Proverbs is there for. This is the first thing. If you don't understand this, if you're not good with Proverbs 1, then you're not good. Okay? Then your foundation is evil. Instead of righteousness and justice, like it says, I believe in Psalm 89, which is the foundation of God's throne, it's the foundation of the throne of the righteous, Proverbs 16:10 through 12, and so on and so forth. The throne of kings, true kings, not people who are merely given that title and allowed to look good, like the Pharisees in Matthew 23, right, who sit in Moses' seat. They're allowed to, but they don't deserve it, and they're not truly kings or leaders. Okay. Proverbs 1:18. These men lie in wait for their own blood. They ambush only themselves, like in the book of Judges, right? God confuses them, and they ambush themselves. They're their own worst enemies. They ambush their allies, right? They made a formation, a grouping, a nation, a bunch of people in the same spirit with more or less the same state of mind, what have you. Okay, an alliance of states of mind, right? Government, meaning mind, like in the word mental and mentality. Again, these men lie in wait for their own blood. They ambush only themselves. Such are the paths of all, keyword all, who go after ill-gotten gain, it takes away the life of those who get it. So what happens if you go after ill-gotten gain? What happens if you cheat me out of my right to lead, and you keep reproducing, or you keep living? What happens? Such are the paths of all who go after ill-gotten gain. It takes away the life of those who get it. Now, when Rockefeller and Rothschilds die, around 100 years old, did they die because of their ill-gotten gains in terms of flesh? So it's talking spiritually, right? A lot of these guys, King Herod, a lot of these guys, they tend to live a long time. It doesn't kill them right away or something, okay? It's talking about it takes away the Spirit of God. It takes away their soul, okay? They ambush only their souls for a bootlicker's pittance, for Scooby snacks, for a fair weather slut, for mere money, which buys, some goofy looking car, some stupid outfit, some stupid house, an unnecessarily large house. This is a disgrace to this person who has it, and so on and so forth. And the next section is called Wisdom's Rebuke, okay? So do the wise rebuke people? Yes. Does the Spirit rebuke people? Yes. Out in the open, wisdom calls aloud. She raises her voice in the public square. Now, what does she say? What does the Spirit of wisdom say, either through people actually talking or through their actions in spirit? Okay. On top of the wall, she cries out. At the city gate, she makes her speech. How long will you who are simple love your simple ways? How long will mockers delight in mockery and fools hate knowledge of God, by walking in the way of righteousness along the paths of justice? Repent at my rebuke, then I will pour out my thoughts to you. I will make known to you my teachings. Again, in Luke 17:3, I used to cite this a lot. It says, when your brother sins, rebuke him. If he repents, forgive him. So it's saying, judge him and rebuke him. And only if they repent, forgive him. And in Matthew 7, that people constantly cite, saying, oh, don't judge me, it says to judge. It first says don't judge, because with that skill, you'll be judged. It's not saying don't judge at all. It's saying be careful, right? It's semantics. It goes on to say in verse 6 or 7, it says, first remove the plank from your own eye, then you'll see clearly to remove the speck from your brother's. They're fuming me, but you can tell that the wise remove whatever's blinding them, whatever's blocking their vision, and they rebuke people. And they rebuke people publicly and effectively and with wisdom. They don't just talk smack, as they say. They rebuke them effectively, like I am in this video. But since you refuse to listen when I call, and no one pays attention when I stretch out my hand, since you disregard all my advice and do not accept my rebuke, I in turn will laugh when disaster strikes you. I will mock when calamity overtakes you. Okay, so say if somebody says, to me, oh, we'll use David and Goliath. He says, why are you coming at me with sticks? And he says, I'm going to kill you. And then David says, no, I'm going to kill you and feed your body to the birds and wild animals. And then David wins. So he kind of, mocked him back. And before he went to war with him, he said, who's this uncircumcised Philistine who's insulting God? So he's rebuking him. Okay, he's calling him, he's addressing him as if he's not important, which is a form of mocking him. And the calamity and the disaster was him taking on God in the first place. And then it just plays out, right? Okay, when calamity overtakes you like a storm, when disaster sweeps over you like a whirlwind, when distress and trouble overtake you. And that goes back to the end of the Bible, right? Jesus coming on the cloud of heavens, me spiritually, my soul on the cloud of heavens. On the cloud in the heavens, it says, Jeremiah 23:19 said, the storm of the Lord will burst out in wrath, the whirlwind swirling down on the heads of the wicked. Okay, it's coming down on their head, figuratively speaking. And it talks about the whirlwind of God's chariots, right? Jeremiah 4:13, look, he advances like the clouds, his chariots come like a whirlwind, his horses are swifter than eagles. Woe to us, we are ruined, that martial art force. Then you will call to me, but I will not answer. Then you will look for me, but will not find me. Many will call on my name and say, Lord, Lord, but I won't answer, because they didn't do the will of God. And I will say, away from me, you evildoers. And that's what my soul and my spirit is saying every day when around 160 to 189,000 people or so die every day. Okay, they're not going to heaven because they didn't do the will of God. Doing the will of God in the divine order defines you as a child of God. If you don't do that, no matter how nice you are, no matter how much you read the Bible, no matter how much you pray, you're not going to heaven. When When they will call to me, then they will call to me, but I will not answer. They will look for me, but I will not find me. Since they hated knowledge and spurned my rebuke, they will eat the fruit of their ways and be filled with the fruit of their schemes. For the waywardness of the simple will kill them, and the complacency or smugness of fools will destroy them. So you know them by their fruit and where their fruit is leading them to. We know that people by the fruit of rebellion against me, okay, which is rebellion against God. Those who rebel against the Son rebel against the Father. Okay, so they're bearing the fruit of rebellion and wickedness and rape by deception and complicity with rape by deception and mass murder and mass drugging and child abuse and domestic violence and on and on and on and on and on. Idolatry and on and on and on. But whoever listens to me will live in safety and be at ease without fear of harm. Whoever comes into the spirit of truly manning up, which is obeying God through me, the spirit of God that comes from obeying God through me, they won't fear death. People are afraid of what will happen if they do the right thing. They're afraid of what will happen if they obey God through me because their spirit is weak, it's beta, it's sissy, it's omega, it's cowardly. Omega in the sense that the betas mean it when they say that they're really omegas. You know, it's not thinking straight. It's not that heterosexual masculine intensity from God. It's just propaganda, left-right paradigm, cult thinking, light workers, new age. It's not having heart. It's just Freemason filled. It's not the spirit of God. And so people being comfortable enough in their spirit to continue to obey God, it makes them a fool, and the complacency, the smugness, the comfort of fools will destroy them. The wayward, warding the Spirit of God because they're too simple-minded to be deep, They're not talking about, being a professor of quantum physics. They're talking about being deep enough to obey God through me and to get to the essence of the point of life.